Nat 2.
Where it's just the two of us.
Naturally.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Nat 2, our podcast. I'm Monica.
And I'm Shea.
And there's only two of us, naturally.
Yeah.
We decided to start a D&D podcast, just us two, which is sort of unadvised, but, Anyway. We have no explanation other than
I could bullshit some answer, but
we felt like of the people that we know, each other was the most down to clown.
Yeah, because we're a special kind of idiot.
A special kind. So we are going to be playing. It's literally just going to be us two, at least for the foreseeable future. I am your dungeon master. Monica, reintroduce you to our hero. And Shea will be playing
Tavumile Fenra, our first PC.
Indeed. So she's going to be at least that PC.
Yeah.
I'll now
also be...
Unless I kill.
hey now.
Hey now.
I'll also be playing various NPCs at Monica's discretion, which... I do not know what.
I was trying to very quietly swallow. We'll see. I'm drinking a drink, which also I cannot say what it is. Sparkling water. At my discretion.
Yeah, at your discretion.
Yeah.
I don't know who I'll play, and I also don't know anything about the campaign except for my own character. So it will be a true testament to my improvisational. Wow. That's a big word.
You improvised that word. Yeah, she knows the basic sort of main thrust of where I'm going with it. And in general, she knows her character's backstory, but in terms of specifics, not for real,
Yeah.
So, see how it goes.
If you know, you know.
If you know, you know.
And the other little tiny piece of crucial information is that campaigns will change. They'll end and then we'll start a new one that has nothing to do with the old one. And every campaign, the DM, I was going to say the D&D changes. Yeah. we don't play D&D anymore. Yeah. We just play a different game.
We're going to play hopscotch.
Yeah.
Next campaign is just pure hopscotch.
Every campaign, the DM will change. So stay tuned for next campaign where I will be your DM.
How long is this one gonna be? I don't know.
Who knows?
Friggin'
You're along for the ride.
Yeah. Welcome to the Thunderdome. Cool.
Heck yeah.
Cool. Freaking absolutely nailing it this time. Nailing it? Yeah, you can say that. I couldn't think if it was sexual. We nailed that freaking I realized. I mean, yeah. That's funny. I nailed it.
Because you put the nail in the hole.
In the hole. I call it
You're pounding.
Nail.
You're pounding it.
I pounded that. Definitely sounds sexual.
Pound out.
Yeah, I was thinking, what was the other one that is sexual?
Clap cheeks. I screwed her.
What's going on? I mean, like, I'm not just saying, what are some sexual terms? I'm saying... when you did something really good, I nailed it. I
crushed.
Crushed.
No.
Hey, let's start the freaking thing. All right. All right. Welcome to the world of Yenef, where the beaches are hot and the Anyway, welcome to the world of Yenef. It is an archipelago,
yep.
A bunch of islands.
There you
go. And that's all you're going to get to know right now. Just think islands, island living. Rife with natural resources, but also with people who are about that life and are trying to scoop them up for themselves. So, crazy, weird, crazy. There's some unhappy customers in the world of Yenef who, want all of the resources for themselves and are not afraid to do what it takes to get it, causing frequent conflicts, frequent wars. A war that is very relevant ended relatively recently, 4 years ago, and we're sort of living now in what is the aftermath of said war. It was between 3 relevant clans to our interest. The war was between the Talenthi, Weftwe, and Horaviok clans. It lasted about 10 years and ended roughly 4 years ago. It ended with a treaty that is currently in effect. And we are flying through the air, through the clouds and through the skies, and we do a little spiral down camera onto the house of Tavumile.
Ooh.
What is Tavumile doing? She is participating in one of her favorite afternoon activities, which is...
playing with buttons.
All right, so she's playing with buttons, as one does.
Yeah, you know.
Little button collection.
Putting them in your mouth, chewing on them.
This is a good texture. So as you are chewing on a button or two, playing with making some stacks and all that good stuff as you do with buttons. All of a sudden, you hear outside of your window, kind of swoosh, swoosh, and you hear your neighbor's voice calling your name. And it sounds like this. Tavumile! What do you do?
I whip my head around, I spit out all the buttons.
Just hitting, like, bounce, bing, 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 all over the room.
And I walk over, I run over to the window and I open it. And I'd like open it inwards. They're like little kind of like, those old timey wood shutters. Mm-hmm. It's like that. And they open inwards. Why would they open inwards?
They open outwards.
They open outwards.
They do open outwards.
We'll do, yeah.
So they open outwards. So
I've never seen a window in my life.
She's never seen a window. Shea has never. We're in a dome right now. So as you open the windows outwards, you push them and you feel against the kind of wooden shutters a bit of something in the way before they can open fully. And as they hit this thing, it goes... and you push the windows the rest of the way open, and there's feathers and whatever, and you see standing in front of you, not perhaps what you were expecting, your neighbor outside of your house.
Yeah.
Standing on the ground, but a large pigeon.
Hello?
Yes, it is a large pigeon, so it's a fancy pigeon, and it's sort of like tan and black and white and, a fun New York pigeon. They get weird there. And it is holding a letter in its beak that's sort of like, like when gangsters talk with like a cigarette, like a cigar rather, hanging out. So it's kind of like, disgruntled by sudden attack of shutters. And it's got a large beak in its mouth.
A large beak in its mouth.
It's a large bird. It's got a letter in its mouth. There we go.
Cool. I think that I look at it, I take a couple steps back, and like I put my, I'm holding my hands to my chest, and I'm like, hello, did you see my neighbor?
It says back to you, is that a bird? Is that a giant bird? Hey, what a large bird. Run away, it's a monster. Oh. Where did it come from? What is it?
Well, I don't think that you're a monster. Is that letter for me?
It goes and kind of like opens its beak and sort of blows the letter at you and kind of meep, meep, meep onto the floor in front of you.
Oh, all right. I think I feel like I should pay you. 1 second. And I like run over to like the little vanity that I was like sitting at playing with buttons. And I was eating oatmeal also for some reason. And I'm gonna like scoop up some of the wet oatmeal.
With what?
That's my hand.
Okay, with just your hand. Yeah. Cool.
Run over to the pigeon. Yeah. I'm like, here you go.
Pigeons, famous lovers of oatmeal. So as you are kind of like going in that direction, the pigeon is like, what? You ain't gonna read the letter? Because that, and starts kind of like, how in Winnie the Pooh, and the pig, it's a bear, it's a Pooh Bear, it starts kind of like shoving his body through the window. So this is a large pigeon.
person
window,
size.
yeah, like
Okay.
window shaped.
Okay.
Shaped like a friend. Friend shaped. Shaped like a friend pigeon. And it's a little bit. It is a large bird, but it is also a small window.
Okay.
So it's kind of doing that, like, too big to get through the hole at the McDonald's place, like funk, and like kind of like pops into your room and like flops because it can't get his wings out in time, so it just kind of boom, like drinking birds face first onto the ground.
Oh, are you all right?
A large bird.
Okay. Here's this as payment. But you will have to leave eventually because I don't think that my mom is going to be very happy that you're here.
A large bird. Run away, it's a monster.
No.
A large bird.
No, you're not a monster. You're very pretty, actually. I think that I've never seen anything like you, but I don't think that you're a monster. I just, my mom doesn't like feathers and mess too much, so.
A large bird. You're very pretty.
Yes.
A large bird. And it's kind of like moving its head around like it's rolling the phrase, you're very pretty, around in its head. You're very pretty.
Oh, what? That's such a nice phrase to learn. I'm glad that you've learned it. Here's some oatmeal, and I like hold it up to its beak.
Okay, it's gonna like eating wet oatmeal with a beak sounds. We can find those. We can find some public domain sounds that are that.
And then when the bird's done, I'm gonna be like, I'm going to read the letter now, but there's more oatmeal on the vanity if you want to eat that while I'm reading this letter.
So it like a horrible bird tongue licks your palm, last of the oatmeal out of your hand and goes over to the vanity to get started on that. What do you do about your wet oatmeal fingers?
I think I just wipe it on my shirt.
Okay.
And I pick up the letter.
I like it. I dig it. Cool. So you hear like unsure giant bird feet nails on a wooden floor, and it's just like dumping over to the oatmeal.
What a smart bird. All right. And I scoop up the letter and I look at it.
Cool. So you like shake it out.
Yeah.
And you see from the letter, it's in a very nice paper that you can tell even before you open the letter that there's something going on.
Mm-hmm.
As you kind of open it, you peel back the seal, and it's a wax seal. Actually, roll a perception check.
Okay. 17.
Dang, girl. So, as you kind of pull the seal back, you recognize it from a previous letter that you have received from the Talenthi royal family.
Ooh.
You reside in Talenthi, so that would be your king,
Yes.
Tembra Talenthi. And the previous letter that you received from the Talenthi, as you recall, was summoning you to the castle.
Okay.
A long time ago, and it was to set up a deal with you, which is, it's not really a deal. It's they told you to do something and now you're doing it type situation, which is currently in effect. You have been conscripted by the royal family to farm a crop known as water clary.
Yes.
Would you like to describe her?
Yeah. I think that as Tavumile like remembers that was the last time that she got the letter, she kind of looks out her window at the fields of water clary on her farm that she resides on. And she remembers how they used to be fields of just vegetables, and they weren't all one crop. I used to grow wheat and lettuce and corn and, all the other stuff, maybe some mystical stuff that doesn't exist in this world. Who knows?
Mystical vegetables.
Mystical vegetables like
bananas that are blue. Ooh. Strawberries.
And they taste like meat.
Nope. Strawberries with the seeds on the inside, which sounds like how they should be, but aren't.
And she kind of sighs inwardly, remembering that now she grows water clary, which is a plant that thrives in very, very wet, moist soil, like almost like how you grow rice in like flooded fields. And the reason why it succeeds on her farm is because her farm was like every year had problems with flooding for the past, I would say 2 years. So her yields for her regular vegetables were not good anymore. And then when she started growing this water clary, they flourished like nobody's business, because of what she thought was, a blight on her farm. And it still might be, because water clary is very highly sought after within the kingdoms. It is a plant that, when prepared properly, helps with scrying, which a lot of kingdoms, clans, use as like a war tactic almost, to see and like spy on
Yeah,
what
like the
other
enemy's movements and stuff, yeah.
And it also gives very vivid dreams, and it could be used, from what she has found, as a like medicinal kind of substance. And y'all will find out more of how and why she started growing this later.
Yes, but regardless of anything, you came upon it, started growing it. You brought some to the royal family, unsort of aware or unthinkingly, not realizing that it would be of such interest to them that they would conscript you to continue farming it, only maybe forever. So you have been to the royal castle before, and it was for the purpose of setting up this arrangement. And so so that's your memory of the seal. And as you open the letter and kind of it out, you could see very nice paper, beautiful ink, royal script. And it's very sort of succinct, the letter. And it just says, Tavumile Fenra. The Talenthi family requests your presence at the Talenthi castle in no less than 3 days. That's all it says. And at the bottom, of course, it has the seal again. And it is signed one of the Talenthi royal advisors. So you know that it's Sir's business. Sir's business. Sorcerers. So yes, that is the contents of the letter.
All right. 3 days. I think I like look up at this like standing mirror, and I see myself and like the oatmeal that's smeared on my shirt, and I'm like, well, I must have to find something to wear.
Yeah, you're looking like a dog's breakfast at the moment. Yes, so you will definitely need something to wear, that's for sure. Not your potato sack situation you got going on. Speaking of potato sacks, what's she wearing? What does she look like? What's she wearing?
Well, Tavumile Fenra, she is a Eladrin, and she is 20 years old. She is 5'8", a small bab.
Friggin' 5'8" is small bab?
Look, when you're 6 feet tall.
Shea's 6 feet tall. I'm 5'4", so I'm invisible, practically.
You're a speck of a bab.
I'm a bab speck.
A bab speck.
Indeed.
And she has pale green skin that's kind of like the color of twigs when the bark has been peeled away. And she has gray, blackish, like really rough bark in various places, like her elbows, knees, the tops of her shoulders, her hands, her feet, and then like a strip across her eyes. And the bark that is surrounding her eyes, which she has like dark gray eyes, is edged with small little pink flower beds that haven't really bloomed yet. But they kind of like, they move with like how she's feeling. So like when she's happy, they tend to like open up a little bit more and adorable. And she has short, choppy hair that's the same kind of fine white color that roots are. And throughout her hair, there are flowers and petals of like a tababuya tree, which are those like really bright yellow trees. And she's basically the embodiment of like a mix of a cherry blossom tree and a tababuya tree, and she like perfectly depicts spring. So she's like a spring Eladrin. And the clothes that she is wearing currently, which is typically what her wardrobe consists of, which is really baggy, handmade clothing that's very utilitarian. So right now she's just wearing like a linen kind of shirt underneath these handmade slouchy freaking what do you call them, overalls that have like a ton of pockets and just various patches and stuff. And she's not wearing any shoes, and she never does because she has bark on her feet, so she doesn't really need to.
Hashtag just elegant
just
things.
elegant things. The other thing is that she is a wild magic sorcerer, and we're starting at level 1.
Yeah.
So I'm a small bab in more ways than one. But also, you can see, like, while she's looking at the standing mirror, you can kind of see that she has, like, various potions and stuff just kind of, like, sitting around her room and, like, on the vanity and, like, hanging on little, like, strings on the walls and stuff. And the reason being, she is a wild magic sorcerer, but we didn't want this campaign to be particularly magical per se, but more so just alchemical. So all of her spells are they originate from potions. So potions that she's made. And the way that we're going to do wild magic is that we have a specific set of rules for wild magic where you have to roll between 1 to 5 for the first wild magic roll for something to happen, and then for 1 to 10 for something to happen, and etc. until you hit a wild magic surge. And then it resets. Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Little cool. Potions, little alchemical girl, farmer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not necessarily dressed for court proceedings. So yes, not only do you need something to wear that isn't necessarily something that you have currently, but also you have been having summoned to the castle once before. You were maligned previously for not following this custom. So you know that when summoned to the castle, it is customary and expected to bring a gift of some description.
Yeah.
Last time you brought nothing, and that was the talk of the town. Flouting tradition and propriety in that way. So see what we can do about that.
Yep. I think that I kind of like stop looking at the mirror and I look back down at the letter and I'm like, all right, well, that shouldn't. Oh. Yes.
A large bird.
What's do you know your name?
A large bird. A monster.
Well, I'm not going to call you that.
You're very pretty.
Thank you. Well, so are you. Well, I'm going to go find my mum because she's a very good present giver. So I think that if I found her and I asked her for advice, she might be able to give me some. So I'm going to go downstairs, but once you finish the oatmeal, you have to leave. You have to promise me that you're going to leave.
The pigeon looks at you. Clicked. It kind of shakes its head around like it's trying to get like a pinball ball in a hole. And the pinball being the words, once you finish the oatmeal, and it starts going... and barfs up the oatmeal and starts eating it again. A large bird.
All right.
A large bird.
You're very smart, so I'm going to hope that you understand what this means. Please don't do that again. You can eat it the second time, but don't try to eat it the third time. Just finish the second round. I know that seconds are great.
You have to go.
Yes.
You have to go.
Wow, that really sounds like me.
A large bird.
Wow. Well, I'm going to go downstairs. Please, when you finish your seconds.
It's like finishing up.
Yeah. Okay.
A monster.
No.
And so as you told it what you wanted, it starts kind of like turning around. It waddles sadly towards the window and is just like, you've got to go. You've got to go.
I'm sorry.
You've got to go.
Sometimes friends can't stay all the time.
This little sniffle. And so the window's still open.
Yeah.
So it's just, it like kind of does what it did. You play the video of it coming through the window in reverse, and it just like out the window the other direction, and you hear as it kind of flies away, "You've got to go now."
I think that I stick my head out the window and I go, "I love you."
You don't hear anything as it kind of flies away for a second, and then you just hear, "Mommy," on the wind, as it were.
I think that she smiles. She's like, "What a smart bird." And then she closes the window and goes downstairs.
So you're looking for your mum.
Yeah. I think I walk downstairs and I go, Mum, where are you?
Cool. The moment you sort of start raising your voice, you hear the sound of a door opening, coming from the direction of your mom's room.
Okay.
And shutting again. It was like opening with rage and shutting with controlled rage.
Okay.
Like, when you're like fixing to give someone a piece of your mind and then you think twice because of the soundness. And so it just click. And then you hear like quiet, controlled storming up to you. And you see rounding you as this person rounds the corner, you hear, "Will you shut up? Goodness, she's finally asleep," in increasing volume as the proximity from the door increases.
Yeah.
And you see in front of you your boy Lucian Valmoira. Lucian, yes. So he is your family friend.
And my best friend in the whole world.
In the whole world. He is also, incidentally, the town medic, and he is a winter Eladrin. So he is pale with dark hair. Have you seen Band of Brothers?
No.
Dear listener, if you've seen Band of Brothers, he looks like the medic in Band of Brothers because I have no creativity. And also that's my favorite character.
Let me look this up.
He's he's kind of like the actor, it was a little bit of rat face type situation. So like not in a mean way. I have pet rats, so they're very cute, but like a drawn kind of a pale dark hair. So.
Oh, wow.
There you go. Yeah, see what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Google it, friends. Is that going to set off someone's device? Alexa, Google it. Anyway, so he is a winter Eladrin, so he's pale, dark hair, and sort of dark details, kind of like gray, blue-ish skin, body type thing, and all of the sort of like barky wooded parts are like a darker bark type thing, like twisted, treeless branches. He is the amount of handsome that your best friend usually is. If you have a best guy friend, they're usually a little bit handsome. That's just how that works. Or at least to you. You know? Like, because you have feelings, friendship, knowledge of them.
Yeah.
So he's like the cute that someone you love is.
Yeah.
So, what a cute description. Anyway. So, yeah.
Give yourself a pat on the back.
Thank you. Unfortunately, he's rather pissed at you at the moment.
Listen, hello.
Yes, what were you doing making all that racket upstairs?
Well, I need to find my mum. Also, there is a pigeon in my room.
Don't worry about your mum. Okay, so pigeon, what? Like a real one? Like an animal?
Yeah, but this one was honestly rather large. It had trouble fitting through my window, and it also ate my oatmeal, and then it threw it up, and it ate it again. It was kind of gross.
Okay, so why are you calling, screaming through the house for your mum?
Oh, well, the pigeon, it gave me a letter, and the letter was from, the Talenthi royal family, and it said that they wanted to see me in 3 days' time, and I knew that I didn't bring a present last time, and that was bad, apparently, and you know that my mum is very good at giving presents, and so I wanted to ask her whether or not that she would give me a present, and she's like talking so much, she has to take a big breath.
You can see every time you finish sort of a topic, he goes like he's going to say something, and then just like lets you keep going. Cool. So he's like, okay, got it. So, first of all, pigeon, large pigeon with a letter? It was a large pigeon. Okay, so he's got a letter.
Here's the letter, and I like fish it out of my pocket. It's kind of like damp.
So he picks up the moment he sees the Talenthi royal class.
Yeah.
He rolls his eyes extremely a lot.
Yeah.
He's like, those bloody stupid idiots. What do they want with you for? He's like reading it. He said, you got this from a pigeon, and listen, don't go. What if you didn't go? You gotta talk to those stupid,
Well,
pathetic...
I think that if I didn't go, I don't know much, but maybe I would die.
Look, that probably would happen, but I feel like that's a fate. It's almost preferable to having to be in the presence of those.
Do you want me to die?
No, of course not. What are you talking about? And he like turns like, I forgot how stupid you were. Like, no, I don't want you to die. What I'm saying is it's a metaphor. It's an analogy. It's a fate worse than death, having to be in the presence of those bloody, stupid, traitorous, trails off with,
Well, unfortunately, I think that I have to go, whether I want to or not. And I know that I need to find a present, and I also know that I should probably wear something that doesn't currently have any oatmeal on it.
Well, all right, we're going to get him. Do you have any thoughts about it at all?
Well, honestly, I was thinking, my buttons, I could find some really good ones, and then I could make a picture out of it.
Okay, don't do that. So, not that. Listen, as much as the stupid Talenthi, bloody Tembra Talenthi, listen, they don't need gifts. It's a ceremonial thing, okay? So, you got to give them something that's like appropriate to the occasion, appropriate to their station. They're not going to want some button, nonsense or whatever. No offense.
Wouldn't it be preferable because I put a lot of effort into it, and then they could see that she thought about it a lot, and then she really tried, and maybe it could be a picture of water.
No, it wouldn't work. Listen, what was that last part?
Maybe it could be a picture of water clay.
Oh, okay. No, also, still no, I'd say. Listen, it's got to be listen, I don't know what Tembra Talenthi likes, okay? Anyway, he was fixing to say something else, and then he kept talking. You can do something about that if you want.
Yeah, can I make an insight check?
Yeah, go for it.
9.
Okay, I would say that you know enough about Lucian that this is relevant. You know that Lucian cut his teeth as a medic, being a field medic in the war between the Talenthi and the Weftway clan, and also that he did not have an excellent time.
Okay.
You've not heard a whole heck of a lot more than that, but you know that he, isn't Tembra Talenthi's biggest fan.
Okay.
So he's like, I don't know what he would want, but it's gotta be not that. Now, before when we were, anyway, he would have been happy with nothing at all. Now he's big uppity, he's as tiresome as those bloody pointy-eared bastards, and it's all the fault of the bloody alliance. Now he fancies himself a real royal.
I don't really know anything about the alliance and what had happened, because I don't read the news, and I that I didn't go to school, but I have heard that the alliance is a good thing. So wouldn't that mean that he did a good thing?
Listen, don't worry about it, all right? I just know that he's different. I don't know what he would want specifically. I mean, it's either him or his bloody wife. One or the other. She's probably infected his mind or something. Listen, I have an idea.
Right.
There's no need for you to go into town and be around those treacherous freaks for the sake of buying something for the bloody royal family who have it all anyway. Just go up the road and get something from Senthid.
From Senthid?
Yeah, maybe some dried meat that's culturally relevant to the area.
Okay.
They might like that.
That I think that is a good idea. Are you sure that I shouldn't go into town?
Absolutely, I'm sure. Listen, Senthid is going to try and fill your head with notions about Tembra and the Talenthi family, okay?
Right.
Don't listen to him. Whatever he says, just ignore everything, he says, behind all the pomp and circumstance, Tembra is foremostly a bloody soldier, and he'd appreciate something hardy.
All right.
You know, might remind him of his roots.
All
So,
right. It is very hard for me to not listen to people. I think that, honestly, I want to believe that everyone is telling the truth, and so then I think that everyone is, and it's really hard for me not to listen to people.
well, listen, you've got to promise me two things. You
Alright.
won't listen to Senfit, okay?
Okay.
There's got to be something in the bloody general store that will fit the bill. If you can't find anything, make a bloody button picture and call it a day, okay? I know it's not going to be ideal, but you're not looking for perfection, okay? It's got to be ceremonial, but it doesn't have to be expensive or something, okay? Just make him a bloody button picture. That'll have to fit the bill. Don't let him convince you to go into town. It's not safe. You've got to promise me.
Okay.
Okay? What are you promising me? Repeat back what I said.
And she like gets all like bewildered, like her eyes go wide, and she's like, "Oh, what did he just?"
He's giving you a look that's like, I already know. The moment he said repeat back what I said, he was like, "This, all right, something's gonna come out of her mouth."
I promise, that I won't, talk to Senthid, and I won't walk to town.
All right, that's good enough, I'd say. Just keep that rolling around in your head. Your
Alright.
promise to me, and then just this, sliding scale from garbage to perfect. You want to be
Like
right.
a compost pile.
All right, forget what you just said and erase that, and then replace it with what I'm about to say. Okay? Can you
Alright.
do that? Sliding scale.
Okay.
One end of the scale's garbage.
Right.
The other end is perfect. You're
Right.
looking for right in the middle. Smack
Okay.
dab. Okay? Maybe in the dried meat category.
Isn't that the compost pile?
All right, so have a good, get yourself on to the store. I'm going to go
Alright.
do anything else that isn't this.
Okay.
Don't forget,
Yes.
would you promise me?
Don't walk Senthid and talk
Okay,
to town.
anyway, yep, I trust you won't forget. Okay, and he's like ushering you out the door in a sort of I have other things to
Yeah.
do type of way. So he ushers you out the door. You're walking out the door. Roll for me a perception check.
Okay. 5.
Okay, so as you go to open the door, you may recall our pushing out the shutters issue from earlier.
Oh, yeah.
As you kind of push the door open, you feel pressure on the door, and you kind of hear something. And as you take a step forward into the golden sunlight of the beautiful spring day, you land on a giant feathery lump.
I'm like, and I like push myself up and I look down.
You would look up, actually.
Oh, I look up.
That's how big. Hey guys, this is a big bird. Okay.
I look up.
You look up, and the bird is looking down at you with its black, kind of like void eyes, as birds have, and it goes, "I love you.
Hello. I thought that you were gone. I love you too.
I love you."
Wow. Honestly, I should just teach you a bunch of terms that are great. Like, you're smart, and you're loved, and you're pretty. Those are the things that I tell myself in the morning.
You're smart.
Yes.
You're loved.
Yes.
And you're pretty.
Oh my gosh.
It's a large bird.
And you are a large bird. That's what makes you smart, is that you know what you are and you still love it.
It's a monster.
No, you're not a monster. Although that might be a good phrase to know for things that are being a monster to you. Like if somebody's being mean, you could call them a monster.
It's a monster.
There you go.
You're not a monster.
Yes. Wow. Will you come with me to Scented Store?
Will you come with me to Scented Store?
Yes, I will. And I start walking.
That's so good. All right, so as you start walking, roll a flat No. What's for smartsies?
Smartsies?
Yeah.
Intelligence?
Intelligence. Roll an intelligence check. I want to see if this idiot can connect some dots.
All right. 17.
Okay, so you got a letter from presumably the king from this bird.
Right.
So you are kind of walking it back in your kind of hamster wheel mind and kind of putting together that this bird at some point might have been in the presence of Tembra Talenthi. This bird which is, to your knowledge, sort of a recorder.
Yeah.
So, do with that piece of information what you will.
I think that I kind of stop dead in my tracks as I'm like, the gears in my brain are turning. And I turn around to the bird and I kind of put my hands on both sides of his face and I look at it and I go, do you know what Tembra Talenthi would like?
This is how I'm imagining this play out. You are walking with a large bird.
Yeah.
A large bird.
A large bird.
There are not that many people, but the ones that are out are looking at you in the sort of, oh, she just does whatever kind of way. Everyone is sort of bewildered by you generally, and so this is kind of par for the course. So you and this dumpy bird are like just taking a stroll. The bird's following you because it doesn't know, where to go.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you stop dead in your tracks and the bird stops too. Because it takes you a while, once you get a thought,
to figure it out.
To kind of like go like, I've just received a thought and kind of put it together. And you turn around, walk up to the bird, either side of its face. Do you know? Bird, kindred spirit, cocks its head and stands there for the next 5 minutes as the ball kind of slowly rolls down
and I don't
the
stop looking at it the entire time.
Full eye contact, no blinking whatsoever. Pigeon goes, I need a drink.
A drink?
I love you.
I love you too. You're so smart.
Smart.
Yes.
You're smart.
A drink. Maybe like, what kind of drink would he be meaning? Like a
I need a drink.
Like water. I drink water all the time. Maybe he means tea. I know that there's a lot of fancy teas. Let's continue descended, and then maybe he'll know, because he sells stuff.
Maybe he'll know. He sells stuff.
You're right. Let's go. And I turn around.
I love that so much. You're like, what a great idea for a pigeon. I wish I had that idea. Cool. So you are walking. So where you're walking, it's sort of like, it's like, how farms are typically on plains?
Yeah.
This is a magical world of my own invention. And by magical, I don't mean in the traditional sense. I mean in the stuff don't make sense. It is a relatively hilly region. Look, I'm sure you could go grow crops on hills, but there's like wheat on a hill and corn and stuff like that. Full of beautiful nature, springtime. There's birds laying eggs and tweeting, small ones, much smaller.
The freaking pigeon just drops an egg.
Yeah, they're freaking giant noise.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the birds are tweeting, just laid an egg, lol. No, not like that. You know how you do. And some hot takes about eggs. Anyway, so birds are tweeting, flowers are blooming, life is happening, everything is great. Babbling brooks and all that. So as you approach the general store, you're walking on a sort of dusty road type situation, fairly developed as far as agriculture is concerned. So it's not like there's heck of trees all over the place.
Yeah.
But it's still very much, you're in and around nature. As you approach the general store looks like it was made out of kind of dilapidated pieces of furniture that, like, the parts that made it the piece of furniture were sawed off. And it's just kind of slats of different colored wood, like a bookshelf that was fully taken apart and used for, like, siding. There's, like, chair legs and stuff around the door frame.
Yeah.
And the general store sign itself it's called The General.
Yeah.
as a nod to Senthit's military roots, of which you are vaguely aware,
Yeah.
in the way that you are vaguely aware of everything. And it is a sign made up of, again, pieces of gizmos and gadgets and contraptions that are, arranged to say the general. Mm-hmm. And it was sort of carefully done, you imagine, by Senthit's wife, because she's like that. Mm-hmm. He's too kind of like cowboy, about life to care. And the chain was removed, or like the chain broke and was replaced by a leather strap, which is also about to break. So you're looking at it from the outside, and you can hear from where you are some like hullabaloo going on in the back.
Okay.
So yeah.
I think that I turn to the pigeon and I'm just like, so this is Senthid. Hang back a little bit so that I can prepare Senthid for seeing you, because I guess a lot of people aren't used to seeing big birds, which is odd because I feel like it's you just look like a bird.
A large bird?
Yeah. Well, let me go say hi to Senthid, and then you can say hi to Senthid.
I love you.
I love you.
I love you.
Yes. And then I turn and I walk to the back.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So you walk around to the back of the store. And as you walk around the back, it is in between kind of two roads. There's a road that you were walking on to get to the front door, and there's a road at the back door as well. And on that road is a horse-drawn carriage that is being loaded up with all sorts of products and goods and yada yada to take to the town.
Okay.
To go into town. And you see some general store lackey-looking dudes, maybe some dudes from the trading post in town that have come with him to collect whatever, they're charged with getting. His wife is in the front carriage doing the modern-day equivalent of filing her nails, or like doing the past, whatever. I guess she could be, she's filing her nails. She's in the seat filing nails. She is, in the driver's seat, just sort of waiting for everything to get done. Up as you see, and in front of you with a large clipboard, talking to a man and checking things off of a list, presumably, is Senthit. He looks like, even you know what he looks like. You're approaching from the back, but he looks like in the old Looney Tunes cartoons when Wile E. Coyote would get like an anvil dropped on his head, where his head is like super flat, but the rest of his body is very long and tall. He's got a big old schnoz, big old nose. He's wearing a wide-brimmed wicker hat, and he's got kind of like eyebrows where you can't really see his eyes because he's got so much eyebrow going on. And he's got like old man tattoos, where it's like he had a tattoo and it was like, farther shores lie ahead or something like that, something inspirational.
Yeah.
But he got like a burn on his arm, so it just says fart or something. And he's like, it's kind of funny. Anyway, that's the type of guy we're dealing with here. So he's got a big old clipboard and he's talking to some lackeys.
I think I walk in there and go, Senthid, hello.
Well, who's that there? Oh, Tavumile, what are you doing here? And he sort of like answers you put it in the back, whatever, and like kind of turns his attention to you. What are you doing here, lass?
Well, I need to find a drink. Here, I made a new friend. Here, you can come out now.
The pigeon is sort of like, there's a corner of the back of the building is sort of like, sticks his head out of the side and goes, a large bird, which is very quiet because you're far away.
That's my friend. I don't know their name, but they're a large bird and they know that they're loved.
I love you.
See? So, that's the first order of business that I wanted to tell you.
Right. Well, if that's all, I'll be getting back to
No, that's not it. That bird told me that I needed to find a drink for Tembra Talenthi.
What are you talking about, lass? What's happening? You need a what for who for why?
Well, that bird delivered a letter to me this morning And I fed it oatmeal as a payment. And when I read the letter...
Am I going crazy, lass? So, okay, so I'm going to ask you some questions and I want you to answer them exactly as I ask him, okay?
Okay.
All right. No, that's not far back enough. A bird brought you... What, a bird?
Yes,
There's a bird.
that bird.
Right, that bird... You brought it oatmeal and now it's here.
It brought me a letter, and then I gave it oatmeal as payment.
A letter?
Yes.
And where exactly, he's like scratching his head, like, where exactly does Tembra Talenthi fit into all of this, lass?
The letter was from the Tembra Talenthi royal family.
Slambo's underwear? I was like, I have to come up with an expletive isn't the word I'm looking for. A word right now, an interjection, and I'm just gonna go with whatever comes out of my mouth. Slambo's underwear? From who? From Tembra Talenthi?
Yes. It said that they wanted my presents in 3 days' time. And I know that I didn't bring a present last time, and apparently that was pretty bad.
Yes, it was. It was all over the news, sweetheart.
I don't read the news.
Well, okay, it's fine. Well, listen, this time you can make, a better showing of yourself for the family, right? So what are you thinking of bringing him?
Well, that's what I'm here for, because I was thinking that I could bring a button picture, but then Lucian said that wasn't a good idea, and so then...
Oh, well, I would agree with him about that, but that's probably about all that I'd agree with him with
But I gave you a button picture for your birthday.
Yes, but I'm not Tembra Talenthi, or am I?
I guess that's true.
He, as you say, I guess that's true, he, looks to the office camera and goes, oh, thank God. Okay, good. That was good enough. He looks over at a pile of garbage and it's upside down and broken in half.
No!
Look, there wasn't enough room in the store. We've got enough art, quote unquote. These are his thoughts.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Do I notice it?
No. Roll perception check. Oh no.
That one.
Well, how excellent. You go to look directly at where he was looking, sort of absent-mindedly, but right before your eyes can connect with the fact that your gift to him is in a pile of garbage, a fun-looking dust mote catches the light in front of you. And
would you look at that? Wow.
Anyway, so, don't listen.
Yes.
Don't listen to Lucian. Okay, especially when it comes to the royal family. He's got opinions about them.
Yeah, but
he's gonna try and fill your head with notions about Tembra and the whole Talenthi royal family. Look,
I think that her eyes get all wide and she's thinking about what Lucian said and being like, promise that you're not gonna let him fill you with notions. She's like, I'm being told the same thing
I want you to roll. Hold on 1 second. This is going to be the funniest thing if you fail, and I need you to fail. I need you to roll. We'll just do... we're going to make this a freaking history check.
Okay.
I want you to roll a history check right now.
Okay.
For real.
8.
You can't remember...
Oh, no!
You can't remember who is not you supposed to not listen to. You can't remember who's gonna fill your head with notions about stuff.
Scented, can I ask you a question?
He was mid-sentence.
Yeah.
He's like, by all means, ask me a question.
Am I not supposed to listen to you, or am I not supposed to listen to Lucian?
He looks at you like, maybe it's something clinical is coming. You're not supposed to listen to Lucian, lass.
Oh.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
Listen.
Yes, I think that makes sense.
Look, you've got to promise me that you won't listen to him.
I promise?
There we go. Lucian knows as well as I do what Tembra's after.
Yes.
Okay? If there's anything I know about Tembra Talenthi,
Right.
it's that the man loves a stiff drink.
That's what the bird said. The bird said that he wanted a drink.
Right, but a stiff one.
Like ice?
Like alcohol. Oh, I see, because you freeze it. No, alcohol. Like,
Oh.
you ever had a sip of ale?
I've never drank anything but water and tea.
Well,
Once I had juice and that was pretty good, but
Right.
I had a stomachache afterwards.
that's not good. We
No.
can't have anyway. So stiff drink. Man loves his ale.
Right.
Ales and maybe I know he has changed a bit. And his wife. Listen, I can't even. So I would say this. You want to
Right.
get him something, bit. He's a big boy. He's up there with the king even
Yeah.
of the land. I'd say go with the team of a sort of an alcohol, a stiff drink, but make it a bit higher class. As a matter of fact, I'd say we don't have anything like that at the general store.
You don't?
Yes, I don't have anything sort of classy
Well,
like that.
where am I going to get it?
But he gestures to behind him and goes,
yeah.
it's stiffer and nicer in all that I could offer you here, afraid to say. But the wife and I are taking a trip into town today to pick up some products.
Right.
Why don't you tag along?
Um.
Wink. I won't tell Lucian I know he'd give you an earful.
And she thinks in her head about what Lucian had said, and she hears, "Don't walk town notions. Listen, I think that I made a promise to Lucian that I wasn't going to go into town."
Look, lass, you made a promise to me that you weren't going to listen to Lucian, right?
Yes.
So, and he gets a little close and gives you a
Yeah.
little conspiratorial look and wink and goes, that means the other promise isn't in effect anymore. And he's looking around am I really saying this to an adult?
I think that her eyes get wide and she looks down, her head's freaking steaming. Her universal rules of how the world works has changed.
Yeah, well, roll a, we'll call this one an insight check.
Okay.
You might be able to logic yourself out of this.
A 5.
Okay, so that makes you. Tavumile goes, "Yep, that tracks."
Yeah.
Yeah, all the pieces click into place.
Wow, I never knew that. So if I make a promise to somebody, but then I promise somebody else something, then that means that I didn't break my promise. I just extended it in a different way.
Yes, lass, that is how it works. Anyway, so I've got to, keep getting this loaded up, and he's the guy, handing him stuff, he's
Yeah.
checking stuff off, and he goes, now that we've had that conversation, are you ready to get on the carriage there?
I guess so. I do need to stop by home to get a few things because I just walked here from my home. I don't really have anything on me. I do have a question though.
By all means, lass, what if, we're not burning daylight or anything?
Great, that's great to hear.
He's like, why do I try anything ever?
I know that you said that I can find a drink there, but I guess I need something to wear. I don't think that I should. This has oatmeal on it, and I'm not quite sure that, they would appreciate some clothing with oatmeal on it.
Yes, actually, yes. If you want to find something in town to wear, I can't think of a better place. I mean, you can kill 2 birds with one stone. And as he says that, he makes eye contact with the pigeon, who just starts
Yeah.
I want stuff.
Tavumile looks so upset. He's like, "We're not going to kill
birds.
any birds.
Kill birds.
No.
Kill 2 birds.
No."
And then Senthin is just I sorry, you can accomplish 2 goals with 1 trip into town. He looks exhausted.
Oh, okay. Did you hear that? We're not going to kill any birds. It was just a dumb saying.
I love you.
I love you.
A dumb saying.
Yes. I don't have a lot of money. Is stuff in town expensive? And I like fish in my pocket and I pull out like a little coin purse that I had brought with me. And I'm like, this is all I have. And I open it and there's just like 4.
Yeah, it goes like, and like some dust just floats out of it.
There's 1 piece of silver and 4 gold.
Yeah, and naturally, at least 1 or 2 buttons.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
absolutely.
The ones that are not special enough to keep,
Yeah.
in other special pockets. And so you take out the money and it's on your hand, along with some like lint and buttons, and he like kind of moves around with his finger to see how much you have, just like, is this really okay? And he goes, listen, lass, I mean now that his wife is, a part of it, the stuff he'd want isn't cheap.
Right.
And he's all of a sudden you kind of see something kind of click in his brain, and he kind of like looks around and goes, man, I mean, only if your crops weren't, outlawed and requisitioned by the Talenthi royal family, I mean, you could buy anything in Waypoint with just a single leaf.
I know, it is a shame.
Sure is.
Yeah. She just looks at him.
And he like, as I give up. All right, well, are you ready to go now, lass?
Yes, can I pick up a few things from my home? I didn't bring, like, my bag or my potions or anything.
Fortunately for me, you, and everyone else here, your home is on the way.
Oh, that's great.
Excellent news. We're about ready here if you're ready to go now.
Yes, can my bird come with me?
For sure. Anything to make this take less time. And he is getting himself into the carriage.
Yeah. I think I go up and I'm like, can I ride the horse?
Sure.
Yay.
You flump on top of the horse. Yeah. Cool. So you're clip-clopping along. DM question: do you have water clary currently on you?
No, I do not.
Got you. Cool. So, we're clip-clopping back to your house, and it didn't take you that long to walk to the general store in the first place. It's mid-morning at this point. And now you're on a horse. The horse is walking, but horses walk faster than me walks. So you still get there, with relative speed. It's basically there's a big overloaded, caravan-looking thingy with, it's got an inside compartment type thing where you could sit, or, the guys, there's 2 lackeys are just kind of hanging on the outside like jaunty pirates, and you're on a horse, which logistically with a whole setup, I'm not really sure how that would work, but we're just say that they have one where you could do that and it would be fine. It is drawn by 2 horses, just for the record, so it's not one. I'm not abusing any fake horses. They're in love and they love each other. One of them has a fedora and the other one has a bonnet and they're kissing.
Oh, wow.
That's from a Fantasia movie. So the hats were in love. Anyway.
All right.
So we get back to your house. Cool. So they park, I guess. They horse park their horse carriage, weirdly, perhaps to you, far away from your house, and Senthet kind of looks around and goes, all right, lass, we'll just be waiting right here.
Why did we stop so far away from my home?
No reason, just sort of, make it quick for us, right?
All right. I hop off the horse and I dead sprint to my house.
Okay, so as you're approaching your house, the bird pigeon, our friend, does not follow you. He's like, you got this. He doesn't say that because he doesn't know how, but he goes as you go to wish you luck, as it were. You are booking it, Naruto running, just to the house. So as you approach, go ahead and roll a stealth check.
Okay. 17.
Swell. So as you approach the front door, it's shut. You know you've lived in that house a long time. You know all the floorboards that go squeaky. You know just the way to open the door so that it doesn't hit the whatever. You are tiptoeing through the house. Life is good, and there's no sign of Lucian or your mom.
Okay.
Anyway, so you imagine that they're off doing other things in other rooms.
I think that I go upstairs and I grab like a little, over the head satchel that's just like a sack essentially. I grab my potions. I have like a little work belt, like kind of like what you would put tools on, but they have little hooks and doodads for my potions to sit in.
I dig it.
I grab that and I put that around my waist. I think I'm about to leave my room, and then I'm like, oh, wait. And I go to my vanity, and I open up my drawer, and I shift it around, and I pick out my favorite button. And I'm like, just in case for good luck. And I like put it in my satchel.
Just in case you need it.
Yeah. And then I go downstairs. I go into the kitchen. I think about the horses and the large bird. And I go to the cabinet, and I grab a handful of oats, and I just put them loose in my bag.
Got it.
Just loose.
All in between all the other stuff in your bag.
The important essentials.
I dig it.
And then I think that I leave a note for Lucin and my mom. Mm-hmm. Essentially just being like, Lucin and Mum, I am going to town with Senthid. Senthid told me that if I made a separate promise from my original promise, that it cancels out the other promise, and that was a universal rule. And so I'm not breaking a promise. I'm just morphing it. And she's like crossing out.
Yeah, there's like squiggles all over the place. Arrows to the actual sentence.
Morphing it into one that's a little bit different than the original one. But I'll be home tonight. I promise that. Love, Tavzu, and then just like XO, 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 XO.
Got it.
And I leave that on the like table facing up. Mm-hmm. I think I write it on the back of the freaking invitation.
Oh, no. Do you leave it invitation side up or letter side up?
I think I leave it letter side up because I think I write it and then I just put the pencil down and I head out the door.
So it's evident
that
like they would see, they wouldn't be like, oh, this invitation, there's probably not a letter to me. It's very like evident.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So with your stanky nat friggin' 17 stealth check, you vamoose out of there, no problemo.
Heck yeah.
Anything else you want to do before you go?
I don't think so. I think I just sprint back to the carriage. Yeah, I get there. I'm like,
well, that was quick, lass.
I ran.
I do appreciate it. And you're now what?
I think I climb back onto the horse and I pet it. And then I reach into my bag, get a little handful of oats, and I hold it down to its nose. Do you want some oats?
Scooby-Doo friggin' horse. The hat he's wearing, this is canon now. He's wearing a fedora. It like looks at you and also it licks its hat, mouth, lips.
Wait, what?
No. There's this in Fantasia. Hi guys, there's a hat. Anyway, not that. We're not doing that. Anyway, so you're on your way. So as you sit on top of the horse, you give it some oats, which the whole logistics of a horse eating oats and pulling a horse-drawn carriage is something to behold.
Yeah.
And
alchemical horse is what this is.
You know it. And cool. So yeah, Senthit's wife is like, all right, let's, on our way, onward, and kind of like clickety clicks the reins. She sounds just like him. I love the idea of that. So, so you're on your way. You are going a way that would bypass your house in terms of like a sight line. It's still in the direction of your house. So like going to the general store was going away from town.
Yeah.
So going back into town is past your house, but there's multiple routes he could take that would make it so it wouldn't be like, that looks like a horse-drawn carriage. Oh, there's Tavumile riding a horse. Because Senthet is wise to
Yeah.
Lucian's whatever. Cool. So you are clip-clopping on to town. It is springtime, as we discussed, a crisp spring day. As you kind of get, so it is relatively hilly where you were in the sort of farming area, and as you go closer and closer into town, it becomes increasingly hilly. So these horses are having a good old time. There's rocks and blah blah blah, and there's like great big trees. This path into town is very much kind of carved out of nature, and nothing else nearby is developed. It was the town that you're going to is called Waypoint Town, and it was set up on the border of the Talenthi clan and the Horovio clan.
Right.
And so it's sort of like a border city that became a temporary trading post, then just became a trading post, and then it became a big city.
Okay.
Over 4 years of development, which isn't that much, but there's nothing really around it, so it was like, this is the only place where stuff happens.
Yeah.
So you're in the no one is around it part of town. So it's hilly, natural, beautiful, and the weather, it's like you can feel kind of like tiny little spring raindrops on your cheeks, and all that good stuff. So you're clip-clopping along. And as you're doing that, Senthet is sort of making light conversation with his wife, who is sort of not really, she's just sort of letting him talk. And he realizes this and kind of turns his attention to you and goes, "So you like animals, eh?"
I really like animals. I think that they're really cool.
"Yeah, I mean, that bird seems quite taken with you." And you can hear softly Pigeon going, "I love you. I love you."
Yes, I think that I taught it to love.
"Yes, I think it might love you." Laughing.
And she like gets all excited. The flowers like around her thing bloom a little bit.
And he goes, when I was a sailor, we the horse you're sitting on, in the sea,
Right.
they have these things called sea horses.
Really?
Yes.
Do they look the same?
Well, sort of, the head portion is horse-like, and then the body is sort of like, like chewed gum.
I think that she like looks up and there's
Gum
like
exists in this universe.
in her head she's like imagining the actual horse head
Right.
and then disfigured brown fur.
Yeah, so it's like kind of got like a big belly, and it's got like a curly tail like a pig, but it's sort of like amorphous and blobby and stuff.
I think that this is morphing into a nightmare in her
She's like,
head.
Yeah, and the seahorse, the male seahorse is the one that has the babies.
I don't think I ever want to see a seahorse.
Oh, they're beautiful. There's a type of shrimp
Right.
in the sea called the mantis shrimp. And they say that it can punch so fast that it breaks the sound barrier.
The ocean sounds like a magical place.
Oh, it's a magical place. And as he goes to launch into further horrifying eldritch abomination horror animal descriptions, suddenly the horses kind of go whoop, 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 whoop. And Lady Senthet is like whipping, not whipping, but like rain snapping them and being like, "What's all this about?" And Senthet is just like, "Oh," and stopped his whatever and to be like, "Oh no, would you look at that?" And in front of you is some felled trees.
Okay.
Indeed. Blocking your pathway. And it's sort of like all around you, in addition to familiar faces, is many tall trees, kind of just doing their thing, so it's not like, there was some sort of rampage and there's many felled trees. It's just sort of these two, just hanging out in the middle of the road.
I think that Tavumile hops off the horse and she's like, "Oh, I can move those. Those don't look that heavy."
"Well, yes, lads, hop to it. I'll give you a hand." And he like rolls up his greasy sleeves so you can see the fart tattoo. And as you move towards the trees,
Yeah.
that's where we are going to end this session.
Ooh.
So stay tuned for further adventures.
Heck yeah, Dan.
Yeah, in the land of Yenef.
Tavumile Fenra. In the land of Tavumile Fenra, because the world revolves around her, baby.
And do, baby. All right, bye-bye.
Bye.